And number one whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man. Take two on Wednesday, August 18th, 2021. Appreciate you hanging in there. For those of you who don't know, we had major technical meltdown, so this is part two on a blustery, can I say wintry morning in Utah?
I would say weather-ridden morning.
Yes, it is raining and blowing and our internet blew. So anyway, let's move on. We have got to get you the details on this Trevor Bauer story because he's currently going through a hearing to decide whether or not there should be a restraining order against him for domestic violence. Oh, and the details are not funny. And they are ugly, and this is a scary, scary case for Trevor Bauer. Because for the first time, I truly believe he may be the victim in this case. We'll tell you about that coming up. But we got to start with the Utah Jazz on Christmas Day. This is a big day for the Utah Jazz because for the first time in what seems like over a decade, it feels like the Jazz have national credibility because they are going to play on Christmas Day. They will be the caboose to the NBA train, if you will. They'll be the late game against the Dallas Mavericks. They will follow the Lakers and the Nets, which, by any other word, you would say is the marquee matchup of the night. But, Jake, how significant is this that the Utah Jazz get a Christmas Day game?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. You look at the way this offseason has gone, and there hasn't really been a piece of bad news at all this offseason. You've done well in the draft. Summer League's gone great. Everything's going awesome. And now you're on the Christmas Day slate, which is a huge tip of the cap to you because there are five games, 10 teams, and you're one of those 10. So, yeah, that's a big deal. That's awesome. I think it speaks to Donovan Mitchell's stardom. I think it speaks to the fact that, the Jazz were, the number one seed last year, and the NBA feels as though there is an audience for them. And at the end of the day, whether they put this matchup together because of Luka or, because this is what they could figure out, the fact is you're in. You're playing on Christmas Day, and that's a big deal. When you ask players how special it is to play on Christmas Day, they take it very seriously, and so that's why I just think for the organization, it's definitely a win. There's no other way to spin it.
Hey, by the way, just curious, Ace wants to know if this means Luka's mom is going to be in Salt Lake City.
I mean, I think it may mean that, yes.
That's it. This could be a big event. What I think it means is that the Jazz have a modicum of credibility. I'm
sorry, did you say a modicum?
A certain bit.
Okay.
A significant amount of credibility. I mean, when you're coming off of a season, get a thesaurus, sir. When you're coming off of a season where you had the best record in the NBA, you would expect these kinds of honors. And it truly is an honor to play on Christmas Day. When the NBA picks its games, they pretty much have a captive audience. I mean, it is, as we're going to talk about in a minute, NBA on Christmas Day is a tradition that dates back to my childhood. I remember watching Lakers Celtics. I remember, having sports on holidays is a big part of families in this country. And so when you're the Utah Jazz and you get to be part of that and you're playing an important game because, the Mavericks are a decent team. The Jazz have very high expectations. The NBA has expectations for the Jazz. Now the NBA is kind of tipping their cap to the Jazz saying, hey, you had a great 2020 season. Here, we're going to put you on Christmas Day because we think people will watch. And if you look at the slate of games on that day, Jake, that's nothing to shake a stick at. Following Lakers and Nets you're going to have a huge audience.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think that, the league always does a good job of kind of putting the best matchups in prime time, and whoever follows those two primetime matchups really should do well. And I just think that anytime, there's a lot of run on Twitter right now about the fact that a year ago Donovan Mitchell put up 57 in a playoff game against the Nuggets. And I think that, the league understands that Donovan Mitchell has the ability to do big things in big moments, and I
Yes.
think that's why he's getting the respect that he's getting.
I mean, there's no doubt that Donovan Mitchell is one of the young superstars in this league. And I look at the other games on the slate. I mean, Hawks-Knicks, it's the New York Knicks. I think with their resurgent season last year, you understand why they're on Christmas Day, especially at the Garden. Celtics and Bucks, absolutely the NBA champion's going to be on Christmas Day. You get Warriors and Suns. This is a huge thing for the Phoenix Suns because as well as they did last year, winning the Western Conference, going to the NBA Finals, again, playing on Christmas Day against one of the most popular players in the world in Steph Curry, I mean, there's going to be a big audience for that leading you into Brooklyn at Los Angeles, the Nets and the Lakers, huge audience for that. And then you have the Jazz bringing up the rear against the Dallas Mavericks with Donovan Mitchell. I think this is a huge opportunity for Donovan Mitchell, Jake, to get exposure, frankly, to a lot of NBA fans who don't probably know a lot about Donovan Mitchell because he plays in Utah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have heard the name, but they haven't seen the game. They haven't. It's not like oh, LeBron or KD or people know who those guys are. They know the game. They know what they're about. But when you think of someone like Don or Book or I hesitate to say Jason Tatum, but maybe even Jason Tatum in some cases, for a very casual outside looking in supporter who would be watching on Christmas Day, these are huge opportunities. And so overall, I just think that this is Don's first Christmas Day game, and you can be sure that he's going to make the most of it. Now the biggest thing that I think we have to look out for on this Christmas Day slate is injuries. I think we're talking about in the Lakers and Nets, we're talking about two teams that have struggled to stay healthy. And so that Christmas Day matchup on paper looks great, but what does it really look like when we get there?
Wow.
And so to me, it's like, yes, this is awesome, but let's wait and see what it actually is when we get there.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about it because as I said, I romanticized the NBA on TV as a kid. I mean, the music, that was the anthem of my basketball fandom, right? And obviously growing up in Chicago, Michael Jordan had a huge influence on my fandom. So if you think back to your childhood and you think about those sports moments that were so important, watching Lakers and Celtics at my aunt's house, watching the shot on Elo at my sister's house, I have a lot of memories. Being on the floor at Chicago Stadium to watch the Bulls win championships, Kobe and Shaq winning championships, the Kobe and Shaq dunk against Portland,
yeah.
All of these memories that I have in my head as a younger guy, a lot of them are around holidays. A lot of them are the NFL on Thanksgiving. A lot of them are, for me, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game was always one of the most important events. Ryan Sandberg playing in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game was a huge moment for me, right? I remember, the night when the Cubs got lights at Wrigley Field. I remember watching that game on TV.
Yeah, most people don't know they didn't always have lights.
Yeah, it's so that's why this is so important. There are going to be a brand new generation of Utah Jazz fans staying up on Christmas night to watch the Utah Jazz play the Dallas Mavericks. And it's going to be in your own building. It's in your city. It's like, hey, I live in South Jordan, and look at that. It's downtown Salt Lake on Christmas night.
How many parents are going to buy their kids a Don jersey as a gift because Don's playing that night?
How many parents are going to buy their kids tickets to that game for Christmas? It's everything that you want as an NBA fan. Look at Nets and Lakers.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going to be, but I would love to be at the Jazz game. If you're in LA, you'd love to be at the Lakers-Nets game.
Yeah.
These are all huge moments in time, and frankly, I'm here for it. I love to think about sports on TV on holidays. What's your favorite? Do you have...
The NBA on Christmas Day is easily my favorite. I mean, I think the NFL on Thanksgiving is awesome, but on Thanksgiving, we don't... If you think about it, on Thanksgiving, what does our family typically do? As a kid, it was, hey, get together, huge family gatherings, eat and watch football. But for us, with where we're at now, it's kind of like, okay, well, what can we do with Thanksgiving? In prior years, we've gone up to Park City and enjoyed our Thanksgiving that way. We've done different things with Thanksgiving. So to me, Chris, honestly, man, like I love, and this is a little kid coming out in me. I love the time of year we're in right now because we can start to look forward to awesome times in the holiday season. And so the reason for me that Christmas Day is so special is because the end of the year, ever since we started working at the Yelpatory, we take about, I don't know, what do you think? 3 weeks? Probably? 2 weeks?
Yeah.
At least 2 weeks. 2 full weeks off from work. So you're really happy. You're really enjoying life.
Yeah.
You can look. It's like it's snowing outside. It's awesome. Like it's just a great time of the year. And so when you can, open up the gifts, watch your family open up the gifts, have all that joy in your life, and then flip on the tube and you've got KD and LeBron going at each other.
Yeah, man.
I mean that's what I think is really tough to beat. And then on top of that, not only do you have the NBA on TV all day, you can go and snowboard, you can go and do all these great things. So I think for me, the NBA on Christmas Day it's part of a bigger picture that is just a phenomenal time of the year.
Well, James Knight brings up an interesting question, and this is something we've talked about, I feel like, a couple of times, but we haven't done it on the show yet.
Yeah.
James Knight says, forgive my ignorance, but are you saying Donovan Mitchell isn't already a household name among NBA fans, or am I underestimating the smaller market? I actually don't think Donovan Mitchell's a superstar.
I think if you ask like an East Coaster, if you ask someone who lives on the East Coast who doesn't watch Western Conference basketball, like I said, I'm sure that they've heard of him, right? Hey, I've heard of Donovan Mitchell on SportsCenter, or like I've heard the name, but I don't really know the face or the game. That's why Christmas Day is so important for someone like Don. This used to be, I think Devin Booker's largely got past this now. I think people know who Book is, but like even still, like being able to play on Christmas Day for LeBron and Kevin Durant doesn't matter, right? I mean, everybody knows who they are. They're a household name. They're Olympic, like they're all these great things. But for Don, and for Book, and for Jason Tatum, and for all these guys who are not 100% bona fide best player in the league, you're going to gain fans on Christmas Day.
Well, and I think, with all due respect to Donovan Mitchell, sure, I think most NBA fans know Donovan Mitchell's name. He's not a star, and I don't think he's a household name. He is certainly not, Durant, Curry, LeBron.
Yeah.
But what is he like? I would argue that Damian Lillard's a household name because he's hit so many big shots in the postseason.
Think about how much national TV Damian Lillard's been on.
A lot.
Think about that.
A lot. And this is the Devin Booker conversation.
It is.
One of the reasons that so many people believe that Devin Booker's going to leave the Suns and go to the Lakers is because the Suns have been trash for 10 years, and they've not been a relevant team. And then Book goes off in the bubble last year, and I think that raised his game and his profile.
Yeah.
And then to see him play so well this past season raised his profile. The thing that hurt Donovan Mitchell this past year is the Utah Jazz continued to win while he was hurt. And then when he came back, he really never came back. And he had a couple of really good performances in the postseason, but Donovan Mitchell was never 100%. He was limping around at the end of the Clippers series. So you finally get to a big series against a big market team like the Los Angeles Clippers, and Donovan Mitchell's not able to go full bore. I think that hurts your profile.
Yeah.
So a Christmas Day game where he's already, I think he's arguably top probably 15 players in the NBA.
But nobody knows that.
Nobody knows that.
And that's why I want to preface this conversation. I don't want to start seeing in the comments, oh my God, you guys hate the Jazz, you think Donovan Mitchell sucks. We're not saying that. We're having a conversation about the PR side of the game, about the publicity side of the game, because that's very much a thing in the league. It doesn't matter. You can be a phenomenal skill guy, but if you have no no ability to market yourself, no one's going to know about you.
Yeah. Eugene 12 says Donovan will get the respect once he breaks through to the finals. I would agree.
Yeah.
eBay the Silver Surfer says Donovan Mitchell is the future of the league. He's better than Luka. Well, and that's the difficult
I agree with that.
conversation.
I agree with that.
I think he's better, but he's not in NBA fans' minds. He's not better.
No, Luka is a global talent. You need to understand that. Luka's won championships in
Luka
Europe.
Doncic is a global brand.
Yes.
And now he just got incredible money. He's again, there are issues with Luka, but he is more well known and more respected than Donovan Mitchell is. And it's not because he's a better player than Don. He just simply has a much larger brand. He's with Jordan. He's got it. He's going to have his own Jordan shoe.
Yeah, with all due respect to Adidas.
Don's an Adidas guy. Now, in Salt Lake City, kids are wearing Donovan Mitchell. Again, the kid at Costco walked up to me wearing Don.
But you would expect that, right?
Yes.
In Salt Lake City, you would expect that.
But in Los Angeles, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago,
Atlanta.
How many people are wearing Donovan Mitchell's shoe?
Yeah.
In Miami?
Yeah.
Not many. Now, New York, he's a New Yorker. His dad works for the Mets. He spends all his time in New York.
He's throwing a first pitch at the Mets game.
That's a good. I think people know. New York is a basketball mecca. My guess is there's a lot of people who know him. He works with Chris Brickley pretty much daily. My guess is a lot of people know who Donovan Mitchell is in New York.
Yeah.
He's got to have that performance. He's got to stay healthy, and he's got to perform on Christmas Day. And then hopefully this team performs and they can win more than one series in the playoffs and actually go to the Western Conference Finals, because that's how you really grow and project your game.
Yeah.
Is going to the Western Conference Finals, getting to the NBA Finals, being in front of all those people. That's what this Christmas Day game is about for the Utah Jazz. It's respect, but it's also notoriety, in my opinion.
100% agree.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, comment dump. Mark J says, I'll drive from St. George to pick up my new smoker. Hey, we're rolling.
Let's go.
We're getting towards 1,700 now, and when we get to 2,500 subscribers, we are going to give away a Traeger Ironwood 650 smoker on this show. We're going to give you a bag of our favorite pellets. We're going to give you all the trimmings and accoutrements. By the way, it is storming here in Utah this morning. Rain, wind, it's cold. It's okay. The Traeger smoker's sitting out there under its weatherproof cover.
That cover's legit, dude.
It is, but I'm going to put it in the garage during the winter, by the way. But anyway, here nor there.
Yeah.
Point is, we got you hooked up. All you got to do is hit subscribe, take a picture that you're subscribed, and tag us on either Twitter, Instagram, or the meteorically rising TikTok. I'm over 100 followers on TikTok now.
Yeah, you said you're at 173, right?
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, on all those platforms, you can find me, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show. Jake is SLC Supercars. Let's talk about this Trevor Bauer thing, because this is a big deal. Wait, let me get some more comments real quick, though. Luka plays in Dallas, Josh Loverin says. SLC is like Portland. Kids only wear Dame's shoe, too. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yep.
Teddy Wayman says, I agree that he is a top 15 player. He just doesn't get recognition. Absolutely right.
100% agree.
Teddy, you're exactly right. eBay the Silver Surfer says, I suspect in year 5 or 6 of his shoe, his quote-unquote brand will take off. I think your brand taking off is largely dependent on how you play on the floor.
You gotta, you can't. I think what you described earlier about the injury limiting his ability to beat the Clippers is spot on. You can't. You got to at least get to the Western Conference Finals to continue to grow from where you are now. That's what has to happen.
Okay, Red Heart Norvis, my man. My childhood Christmas NBA was always a rerun. I had 2 choices. Number 1, watch the NBA.
Okay.
Number 2, watch our hot neighbor having sex with her soldier husband that gets to come home only on Christmas. My view from my... you had a good view? WC, I view from my bedroom window. I don't know what WC means, but...
I don't know either.
You got a really good view from your bedroom window. Hey, man.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Yeah, you know. Game on, dude. James Knight says, guys, I must admit the exposure of the NBA is limited down here, and without my NBA League Pass, I wouldn't see many Jazz games. Well, of course not.
Yeah.
Joshua Loverin says, am I crazy to think that Mitchell is PG-13 2.0? Not yet. He's not.
Yeah, and the thing. Here's the tough thing with that comparison, and any comparison that has to do with someone who's 6'8". Donovan Mitchell is not 6'8", and you can't teach somebody to be 6'8" who's not, obviously. So the issue is that Paul George can do things and get to places on the floor and take shots that Don's not going to be taking because that's not his game, because he's not 6'8". So it's not to say that Paul George is head and shoulders better than Donovan Mitchell, but what it is to say is when Paul George wants to back someone down on the block, he can do that. When Paul George wants to play bully ball, he can do that easily, not a problem at all. When Paul George wants to play defense on a big, he can do that. Donovan Mitchell cannot do that. Donovan Mitchell will not be backing people down on the post almost ever. So it's just a thing where the size that Paul George has gives him the ability to be more dominant, closer to the basket.
Right.
And that's just what it is.
Well, and I think when you look at, I'm currently texting with an NBA guy that I know, who says that we're crazy for talking about Don's shoe.
What do you mean? Why is that?
Don's shoe will never take off.
Wow.
I kind of agree that Adidas is a very secondary brand. By the way,
It is.
Who's Adidas' biggest star right now?
Trae Young?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows Trae Young wears Adidas. I mean, I think some people know Dame wears Adidas. Their biggest star is
Wait,
James
I got
Harden.
one. You ready?
Yeah.
Ready? Patrick Beverly.
Okay, take it easy. What? And this dude, this NBA guy I know, made a great point. James Harden wears Adidas, and nobody knows it. And that's true. I mean, if you want to be a star, you either go with one of the Pacific Rim, one of the Chinese or Japanese companies like Li-Ning. Anta is a big one because those companies pay huge money, and you become a global star, a la Klay Thompson, Gordon Hayward, Dwayne Wade.
Look at Steph. I mean, Steph is a global star. Now, he's with Under Armour, and I'm not going to sit here and say that Under Armour is bigger than Adidas, certainly, but
and I think Steph is one of the few who you can flip that script on. Steph has made his shoe what it is.
Yeah.
Because he's won multiple championships. He's a likable figure.
Think of it this way.
He's a really good guy. He's made Under Armour basketball and the Steph Curry what it is.
How many people know that Joel Embiid's an Under Armour guy?
I don't think very many. You know, the other company that's really struggling is Puma.
Yeah.
How many people know that?
Can you name a Puma athlete right now?
You know, Kyle Kuzma,
LaMelo Ball, Marvin Bagley.
Oh my God, DeAndre Ayton.
You
know, like you just don't know. You don't know, right? Unless you're a shoe guys like we are. But Donovan Mitchell. My guess is Donovan Mitchell will not always be an Adidas guy.
I hope not. I'd love to see him in a Nike, dude. I'd love to see him in a Nike, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you know, it is. It's really interesting to me that, and Puma really is trying to break in. I think the LaMelo signing is huge for them. That was a big get for them.
Let me put it this way: you'll never find me in Donovan Mitchell's shoe on the court. Let me put it that way. Not to be harsh, but yeah. I'm a Nike guy.
Brandon Whiteside says we had Christmas Day game in 2018. The Jazz have had several Christmas Day games. They've never been this relevant, in my opinion. To the modern era of NBA, to the now millennial generation. In 2018, they were not this caliber of basketball team.
You got to remember, though, when we talk about generations, millennials are not the only generation that should be considered now. I mean, Gen Z is, coming into their 20s now. I mean, they have, power here.
Yeah, Jack Harlow is moving New Balance. Crazy cool. Go Louisville.
Yeah, I mean, again, a guy, Jack Harlow. I mean, he's been coming up for the last 2 years.
Kawhi Leonard is New Balance basketball.
No, they're not. He's not saying that Jack Harlow is basketball. He's saying from a brand perspective, like rappers and personalities are getting into shoes.
Well, and I think that's why, so many people are interested in Puma, just you're not buying it.
How many people know that? How many people know? I think it's fascinating. How many people know that Drake is a Nike guy? That he's a Nike, he's paid by Nike. How many people know that?
I don't know how many people know that, but people buy his stuff. I mean, in and it's global. Like his OVO Air Force One, I think it was an Air Force One. I mean, absolutely dominated in the Middle East. Like it's crazy. Like Dubai bought as many of those shoes as anybody.
Yeah.
I look at Kanye with the Yeezy brand as probably the best crossover.
I do not like the Yeezy brand
No,
at all.
I liked Yeezy. I liked the Yeezys when they were at Nike. The Adidas stuff is trash. Josh Levern says Puma basketball shoes only have bigs. Well, I would disagree with that.
I mean, but
Terry
he's but for
Rozier
the
and
most
LaMelo
part,
Ball.
Yeah, I mean, but for them, they've been that. I mean, his point is well taken. Like initially, Puma was about the bigs. Like they again, Marvin Bagley. You've got all these other guys who they've kind of brought on, and isn't I could be wrong.
R.J. Barrett Puma too?
Yes, R.J. Barrett is Puma as well. Yes.
Federico Fonseca says R.J. Barrett's Puma. I didn't know that.
And I want to say, no, I thought I saw somewhere that Kemba had joined them, but I could be wrong about that. But anyway, here nor there, it doesn't matter.
If Kemba joined Puma, they're going down the tubes.
Yeah, either way, here nor there. The point is that Donovan Mitchell needs Christmas Day games like this to build the brand. That's what he needs, and they need to win the game.
Yeah, I think Usain Bolt is that's true. Lexi Thompson is Puma. R.J. Barrett, 1.3 million followers on Instagram. I don't know who that. A Bundesliga got Ricky Fowler.
Yeah, Ricky Fowler.
Mamadou Sakho. I didn't know that. DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
Julian Edelman. LaMelo Ball. Kyle Kuzma. Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
So, they have these guys who.
Neymar is a Puma guy?
Yeah. They have these.
No idea.
They have athletes. They don't have, outside of Lewis in F1, they don't have, like, the top guy. They don't have LeBron. They don't have...
No, I would agree.
Like, you can say Neymar is one of the best, footballers in the world. At the end of the day, the problem with that sport is it's such a global sport, you don't have, what?
And you go to the Puma basketball page, and DeMarcus Cousins of the Golden State Warriors is the...
Why would LaMelo Ball not be the poster child for Puma right now?
You got me, dude.
Anyway, let's get back on track here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? J. Cole is... Okay, I give up. I had no idea he was a Puma guy.
But that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. This isn't just about the athletes. This is a Puma issue. How do you not know that Neymar and Lewis and J. Cole
Marcus Smart
and like R.J. Barrett, like DeMarcus, like how is that not just common knowledge that these are Puma guys?
Michael Porter Jr. is a Puma guy.
Yes.
Skylar Diggins, Danny Green,
Yeah.
Zaire Smith.
This is what I'm saying.
I had no idea.
They have a lot of guys in the league, but what do you think about when you think about basketball? You think about Nike.
I think Air Jordan is what I think about.
Jordan and Nike. You think Kevin Durant, LeBron James. That's what you think about, and that's the brilliance of marketing.
Yeah. Pele was Puma, Neymar is, I agree with that. All right, let's get into this Trevor Bauer thing. This is crazy. If you don't know this story, buckle up. Trevor Bauer is a pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. 3 years, $103 million deal.
Might have heard of him.
Do the math. That's $30-something million a year. Trevor Bauer is currently on paid administrative leave because he is the subject of a vicious sexual assault accusation. And I think this is really important because for the first time, I can say that I think these accusations may be completely frivolous.
It became personal with me.
Trevor Bauer gets a DM from a woman in San Diego. I should just have to stop right there because, of course, Trevor Bauer is not going to, plant a seed in her garden and try to grow crops because she's a female fan from San Diego.
Do you want to set up the meeting?
Okay, I'm an idiot. Of course, Trevor Bauer hooks up with a girl from San Diego.
Duh.
And as the story goes, and as the affidavits and these facts are facts, they are not in dispute. Trevor Bauer acknowledges this happened. On multiple occasions, Trevor Bauer and this woman had sex at Trevor Bauer's Pasadena, California home. On both occasions, Trevor Bauer physically pummeled this woman during sex. He choked her. She was unconscious at one point. He physically beat her, punched her, forearmed her. Like, if you watch MMA, ground and pound is the best way to describe it. She describes injuries as both of her eyes swollen shut. She had bruised and fractured ribs from punches to the rib cage. She was physically beaten on 2 occasions by Trevor Bauer. And in text messages, she asked him to do that. We know all of this because she is suing Trevor Bauer, and there is a criminal and MLB investigation ongoing. As part of the civil and criminal case against Trevor Bauer, and I should be very clear, this woman has applied for a domestic violence restraining order against Trevor Bauer. The police in Pasadena are investigating. There are no charges pending against Trevor Bauer. The reason we know these details is because this woman had to file affidavits, which were responded to by Trevor Bauer and his attorney, in which text messages and I don't even know the word to describe it, horrific, sensational details of their encounters were documented into the court record. And yesterday, day 2 of a hearing for this domestic violence restraining order that this woman has requested against Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is, of course, asking that the restraining order be denied. And so on day 1, the accuser of Trevor Bauer's gets on the stand and gives testimony. She was being interviewed essentially by her own attorney. That took all of day 1 of the hearing. Day 2 of the hearing, things got very different because Trevor Bauer's attorney, a woman named Sean Hawley, cross-examined the accuser. And this is where we start keeping it real. So again, not to be over the top, but let me just reiterate. This woman is in court asking to have a domestic violence restraining order put against Trevor Bauer. She claims she's in fear for her safety and that she is worried about Trevor Bauer approaching her. She claims that he did not have permission to do what he did. Understand that. On Tuesday, Bauer's attorney, Sean Hawley, and I'm reading from an article from a USA Today report that is from an AP reporter who was in the courtroom. Bauer's attorney, Sean Hawley, brought up a series of text messages that Bauer's legal team obtained from a male friend of the woman. So you're suing Trevor Bauer, you're asking for a restraining order. Bauer's attorneys went to work on the case and contacted people in this woman's background, including a male friend who provided Bauer's attorneys with a trove, which that's their word, but a large volume of text messages between the accuser and her male friend. In those text messages, there are references to San Diego Padres shortstop and Major League Baseball unquestioned superstar, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Trevor Bauer's former teammate and very close friend, Padre pitcher Mike Clevenger. In those text messages, there are references to sexual relationships. Sean Hawley, the attorney for Trevor Bauer, said, this is a direct quote, "I am not slut-shaming the accuser, but I have to ask these questions because they are relevant to the case in a family law court." Hawley continued, he, the friend who gave the text messages, is referring to a sexual relationship you had with Fernando Tatis. Is that correct? At that moment, the attorney representing the accuser stood up and vehemently objected to the line of questioning, to which the judge presiding over the domestic violence restraining order immediately rejected the objection and said, this is open, this is relevant to my decision, your witness will answer the question. To which the accuser said yes, and she began crying. Trevor Bauer then sat in the courtroom silently at a table with his legal team looking into his lap. The accuser then confirmed that she had lost her job with the San Diego Padres. She was a member of something called the Pod Squad, a Padres ambassador program, because she lost her job because of the sexual relationship she had with Fernando Tatis, which was in 2019, before she became sober in her battle against alcoholism. That last line right there is pivotal to this case. She claimed that up until 2019, midway through, she was a raging alcoholic. This woman admits that. She's talked about it. But remember that. Just hang on to that piece. Holly, the attorney for Trevor Bauer, then asked if she considered her relationship with Fernando Tatis to be one of a dating nature. Were you in a male-female exclusive dating relationship? Why is that significant? Under California law, to get a restraining order for domestic violence, there must be an intimate, exclusive relationship. It's a huge detail. Holly then asked if she considered the relationship with Tatis to be a dating relationship. Through tears, the woman said, no, it was not. So her and Fernando Tatis were having sex. They were not in a relationship. They were not boyfriend, girlfriend. They were simply having sex. After Holly brought up the reference to Tatis, she then asked about Clev. Holly said there are text references to Clev. She asked the woman whether that was Mike Clevenger. The woman refused to answer the question through tears. She was sobbing at this point. She said, the victim, the supposed victim and accuser said, he, Clevenger, doesn't need to be brought into this. He doesn't deserve that. Bauer's attorney appealed to the judge and said she's not answering the question. The judge instructed the woman to answer the question, who then went on to confirm it was indeed Clevenger and they were having a sexual relationship in October of 2020 after she became sober. Sean Holly, the attorney for Trevor Bauer, who is a woman, at that point seemed to be struck by the state of the accuser and said, I want you to know I'm doing my job. I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm really not. But you spoke a lot about not knowing how to do sober sex. So that's why I'm asking these questions. Remember, this woman now claims, who's accusing Trevor Bauer of heinous sexual crimes, claims that she was a raging alcoholic. That came to an end in 2019. And she said in text messages she had no idea. And then she stood on the stand in day one and said, I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know how to have relationships when I'm sober. This is horrendous. This is horrendous. Now it comes to, they have argued that the woman did not have a dating relationship with Trevor Bauer and therefore should not be subject to a domestic violence restraining order in family court. So notice, nobody's denying these details. Nobody is denying the heinous accusations against Trevor Bauer. But it's starting to look like this woman was looking for Trevor Bauer because she had hooked up with Mike Clevenger, because she worked for the Padres, and because he was an LA Dodger. Mm-hmm. And here's the worst part about this. There is no doubt that this woman was sexually assaulted. Mm-hmm. And in cases of sexual assault, the last question you want to ask is, well, did she ask for it? But she asked for it in text messages. There are text messages that I'll remind you of that go between Bauer and this woman, where in court yesterday, they cited text messages from the woman to Bauer in which she appeared to ask for rough sex, including being choked out. Holly went through the messages Tuesday in court. While she read these messages, the woman continued to melt down on the stand, sobbing in tears.
How can you blame her?
In one thread, in which the accuser wrote, quote, "Give me all the pain," after her first encounter with Trevor Bauer. After the first encounter where she claims that he beat her so ferociously, she then texted him, quote, "Give me all the pain," and said she had never been, quote, "that turned on in my entire life." Holly, the attorney for Bauer, asked, "Did you not think it was of critical importance to share this information with the court?" Because when the woman applied for the domestic violence restraining order, she did not provide any evidence that it was consensual. She did not provide the court with these text messages. She did not provide the court with this dialogue. She only supplied the court with text messages where Trevor Bauer was checking in on her well-being, and used those text messages where Bauer was saying, "Hey, how are you? Are you okay? Can I bring you groceries? Can I send you food?" She said that's why she needed the restraining order. Fuck. This is brutal.
Yeah.
Like,
She doesn't have a case.
I mean, this is the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I just my whole thing here is that okay. So number one, if you're Fernando Tatis Jr. and you're Clevenger, you should be thanking your lucky stars that you're not wrapped up in this. Number one. Number two, for all three of these guys, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, here's the thing, though. You cannot forget that this woman worked for the Padres.
Right, but
so when she was having sex with Clevenger and Tatis, my guess is she was fangirling.
Right. And my point is you're Fernando Tatis Jr. You've made it. You've been through all the trials, all the hurdles, all the everything in life to get to the major leagues, man. And you're fooling around with some fangirl from the pod squad? What are we doing? Maybe you should worry about getting that shoulder healthy that you can't, that keeps taking you off the field. You should be thanking your lucky stars that this girl did not come and include you into this whole thing outside of the fact that she had contact with you.
And then there's the question of what was Trevor Bauer thinking?
Yeah.
Because before I read the most damaging text message that was revealed yesterday from this woman, remember that Trevor Bauer signed a 3-year, $100 million deal with the Dodgers.
And where did he come from?
Cleveland.
Right. And then Cincinnati. And then the Dodgers.
Where he was, by the way, that's where he was a teammate with Clevenger.
So nothing happened in the Midwest.
Nothing.
No issues. Come to LA, all of a sudden things happen.
Remember that this is a guy who got a DM from this girl, answered it, and they wound up in this situation. Remember that. And now let me read you the text message that she sent. This is crazy. Under questioning earlier Tuesday from her own attorney, the accuser addressed text messages she sent to her cousin in May after the second encounter with Trevor Bauer. That one of those text messages read, "It was consensual." But I didn't expect two black eyes. He deaf took it too far, don't you think? LOL.
You're done. Trevor Bauer's not getting in legal trouble for this.
She claimed that she was in shock and trauma, and that text message shouldn't matter because she was in shock. She testified, quote, "I lost any chance of giving consent after the first time he choked me." She said that the encounter began as consensual. But once he began to choke me and I went unconscious, I couldn't give consent. The problem with that is those text messages you didn't provide the court, you're asking him to do that.
Yeah.
And then after that first encounter where you just said you couldn't consent, A, you went back for a second encounter. B, you talked about how much you loved being choked and unconscious and how turned on and how you, quote, have never gotten off like that in the past. And you asked him to bring all the pain. Like, this is not a joke. This woman is trying to have Trevor Bauer put in jail for rape and sexual assault because she DM'd him on Instagram and he answered. I'm amazed by this.
Yeah.
And again, you may say I'm trying to tell you I'm right all the time. The minute that he got a text message from a woman in San Diego, and you can't tell me that when one of his best friends, Mike Clevenger, who he's very close with, you didn't go to Mike Clevenger and say, hey?
Yeah, that's...
Did you not know that she had... Like, did you not ask any questions? I'm amazed by this, that Trevor Bauer, and I don't know any other way to say this, Trevor Bauer is 100% at fault here. Should he go to jail? Did he sexually abuse this woman? No, I don't think he did. I don't think he should go to jail. I don't think he sexually abused this woman. I think that this woman asked him directly in text messages to do exactly what he did. But Trevor Bauer's 100% at fault here. If it never crossed your mind that a woman from San Diego, and had, by the way, you done a simple Google search on this woman, you'd have known she worked for the Padres at one point. But had you just scrubbed her social media, you'd have known she worked for the Padres at this point. And if you're like, well, Monty, people don't do that. Well, when you're multimillionaires, you do.
When you're one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, you do.
When you just signed a 3-year, $100 million deal, the hell you don't. This lady, in my opinion, set Trevor Bauer up. And I don't know. You know what the worst part of this is? Is that no matter what the outcome is, this lady's wrecked for the rest of her life, and Trevor Bauer will never recover from this. There's a real good chance Trevor Bauer never plays Major League Baseball again. Because what do we now know? Well, in court and in text messages, in writing, Trevor Bauer admits he beat the crap out of a woman.
Yeah, but I mean...
And just hard stop that. It doesn't matter if she asked for it. And she did. She specifically, not once, twice, asked for him to do this. But what do we now know about Trevor Bauer? What will we always know? Oh, Trevor Bauer beat the hell out of that woman in Pasadena. He'll never recover from this. And it's 100% his own fault. And no, I do not feel sorry for Trevor Bauer. Now, is the court system absolutely a joke? Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous how slanted against men the court system is when it comes to domestic violence and restraining orders. Now, are there women who are absolutely in need of service and protection? There's no question about that. Do women lie every time and men are always the victim? That's a farce. That's absolutely not the case. Women who come forward and claim sexual assault or rape absolutely need to be heard. Their accusations need to be validated. But this happens too much. This happens far too often. And when you don't make $100 million, can you afford an attorney the veracity and aggressiveness of Sean Hawley? Probably not. But again, guys, this is why you don't do these things. I'm telling you. If a woman asks you to choke and beat her, kindly say no and move on. I am shocked, Jake, that Trevor Bauer put himself here.
Yeah, I mean, it's his fault. I do think he'll play Major League Baseball again. I think every athlete, time heals all. So, it may take him a year. It may take him 2 years. Who knows how long it'll take him, but he will play again. He will pitch for the Dodgers again. It just is a matter of how long that process is going to be to play out. And I think at the end of the day...
You really think he plays?
Oh, based on what happened in the Marcell Ozuna case for the Astros, yeah, he'll play again. Trevor Bauer will play again. Ozuna was a guy who beat the living hell out of his girlfriend multiple times, and it took
in a stairway on video.
Yeah, it took three stints after that in Major League Baseball for him to be banned. So like I just am in a place where I think whether you look at the NFL, you look at Major League Baseball, this rarely happens in the NBA, but sometimes in the NBA these guys play again. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I don't know. Spencer Morgan says these family courts create a real perverse incentive for women to lie and fleece men. Well,
to
that point, this woman is asking for a financial settlement from Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, what's the problem with that statement though? Trevor Bauer needs to be smarter than this. Trevor Bauer.
Oh, this is
again, it's on him,
guys.
So when everyone's out there, wondering why I'm not out dating and playing that game, this is part of the reason, because it causes trouble that dudes don't need.
But you and I think, have on a regular basis talked about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you and I, since your beginning of dating,
yeah,
you and I have talked openly about, women's issues, sex, things like that.
I don't take people specifically, and it's not that I have some bias against women, but when I'm dating, I don't take women at face value. I don't. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. I'm going to figure out who you are. What are you about? And if that's not what I'm looking for, then we're moving on. It's just that simple. And the reason for that is I'm at a point, much like, one in the same breath that Trevor Bauer is in this specific situation, I'm at a point where I have a lot to lose. I'm at a point where I have a lot to lose.
Yeah, you are.
So is Trevor Bauer. The difference is Trevor Bauer's a moron. Trevor Bauer thinks it's okay to respond to a DM and meet up at his house and just do whatever the hell he wants to somebody. Part of me, is struggling with the idea that Trevor Bauer thinks it's okay to beat someone even when they ask you to. Why would you ever beat somebody?
That's why I think he'll never play in baseball again.
Never. Just that concept. Take the legal stuff aside. Just the concept that you would beat somebody to that level is amazing. That's incredible to me. I just don't know how that's even possible.
And it wouldn't. So again, and I don't mean to keep going back over this. She's a total stranger. You don't know this woman. She asked you to choke her unconscious and beat her. And you said yes? I don't know that no, I do know. I wouldn't do that with my wife.
Yeah.
Man, like it just, Trevor Bauer is 100%. This is Deshaun Watson. This is all of these idiot athletes. This is Bill Clinton getting a little beach in the Oval Office. There's no such thing as a little beach when you're the president of the United
Bill
States.
Gates, Jeff
Tiger
Bezos.
Woods having sex with a
Perkins.
A Perkins restaurant waitress in his SUV next to a trash dump behind the restaurant. You didn't think that would end poorly, sir? Like, are you kidding me? Like, it just, I'm amazed by it. Let's get some more comments, because then we have to talk about when you're going to buy your iPhone 13. Brandon Whiteside says, seems like he is winning this lawsuit.
Yeah.
Well, you would think so, right?
He's not. You know what? He's not.
And it's
winning.
not really a lawsuit. This particular hearing is about whether or not this woman should get a restraining order.
He's not winning. She's shooting herself in the foot. They shouldn't be sitting in court.
Well, no, the truth, hopefully, is going to win here. And the truth is, in my opinion, and by the way, you can read all the text messages. Now they're public. It's not hard to, you can read all of these text messages. In my opinion, Trevor Bauer did not break the law. I don't believe he broke the law. I certainly do not believe he raped this woman. I do not believe he did anything that was non-consensual.
Yeah.
I am not the guy who beats people during sex. Like, violence during sex, yeah, I kind of have trouble running the flag up the pole when you're trying to punch me in the face.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that particular genre of erotica. But I don't know if he went too far. But she's texting people, including her cousin or whoever, saying, yeah, it was consensual, but he went a little too far, don't you think? LOL?
You're joking about it.
Hello?
And now we're in court, and you're trying to get a settlement?
And you're wrecking somebody else's life.
Yeah.
Now, again, Trevor Bauer's 100% at fault.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's where I always get to. It's like, okay, cool. You wouldn't be here if you weren't a moron, dude. You wouldn't be here if... I'm not saying the guy's got to live and breathe baseball and not have a social life, but what I am saying is there's a difference between having a beer at the bar with a friend and going home and beating somebody because they asked you to.
I would almost say, as stupid as the two are, like, I would almost side with Tiger Woods. At least he's paying pros.
Yeah.
This is a woman who worked for the Padres.
The issue here is not the relationship. That's not the issue. The
No.
issue is he beat the living hell out of this girl. That's the issue.
Well, and Steve says paying for sex is always a bad idea. Thank you. You're Trevor Bauer, man. You pitch for the LA Dodgers and you do it really well.
And that's the problem. He thinks he's Trevor Bauer. He thinks he can do whatever he wants.
Why did you have to hook up with somebody on DMs? You couldn't. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Anyway, Giggity says sounds like she had buyer's remorse and or someone got in her ear about getting paid off after the fact.
Yep.
I think this was the plan the entire time. With all due respect, and this is just my opinion, this woman's a Padre fan. The Dodgers are very good. My opinion is she went looking with an agenda. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess. I want to hear from Tatis and Clevenger to see if she asked for the same treatment, Giggity said. No way he pitches for the Dodgers again. The organization is trying to separate themselves from him, and several players didn't like him in the clubhouse before this. Yeah, Trevor Bauer is not everybody's slice of life.
Yeah.
He is a outspoken, well, he is an outspoken, brash, big personality.
Who beats women.
And likes kinky sex. I don't know. Where's that a fit? I don't know what market. I don't think he's ever going to pitch again. I really don't. eBay the Sofa Surfer says, I have been married almost 29 years, so I have been out of the game for a while. But if you're looking for a good girl, just explore a city and have a coffee with a girl that passes the eye test. Yeah, unfortunately, millennials and young people don't work like that. That's not the way dating works. Cody Strickland says, we need a truth will set you free soundbite from Liar Liar. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Spencer Morgan says, but will the courts prosecute her for perjury and sanction her attorney for withholding evidence? Don't hold your breath. If I'm Trevor Bauer and there's no criminal case filed and this restraining order is declined, I'm suing her. I mean, like, she is. I agree with Spencer here. I believe that she's been dishonest. I think she tried to deceive the court, and I think she was out for a payday. And I think that she realizes her life has been destroyed, and she was looking for a payday.
It became personal with me.
I mean, you know. Yeah, I just the idea that the man is always wrong has to stop. Whether it's divorce court, child support, you know, like the man is not always wrong. We like to talk about guilty until proven innocent, and we never are guilty until proven innocent. We're guilty until proven guilty, and when we're innocent, we're guilty. Because Trevor Bauer is now always going to be a kinky sex freak who beats women.
Well, he's guilty of doing that. The problem is he's not guilty by law.
No, Cody Strickland. I totally disagree. Cody Strickland says Kobe had rape accused on him, and he still played ball. Trevor will be fine. No. See, there's a big difference. There weren't text messages.
Why does the Kobe thing always get brought up?
He was accused.
Damn.
And by the way, I was covering Kobe when this happened. Kobe Bryant was accused of rape in a city called Eagle, Colorado. He was there to get knee surgery, and he was staying in a hotel, and he allegedly raped a woman in a hotel room. He fought it vehemently. Remember all the stories about him being in Eagle, Colorado for court in the afternoon and playing in the NBA playoffs at night. He was flying private, right? Those details really never came out, and the ones that did were not nearly, Kobe beat this woman unconscious, choked her out. Like, this is different. There are text messages, black and white. And, oh, by the way, Trevor Bauer never denied any of this. His whole argument from day one has been, oh, yeah, I choked her and beat her. Here are the text messages where she asked me to do that.
Draws open on the dunks, by the way.
You know,
just popping in
you.
here.
Thank you.
Just don't want you to miss it.
I don't.
But yeah, that's the issue. That's the issue. Trevor Bauer is saying, yeah, all this happened, But at the same time, it wasn't illegal what I did. I didn't do anything wrong. She's asking me to do this. So, I just think at the end of the day, look, I mean, this is a heinous case. This is something that I do believe Trevor Bauer will play again. I just think it's going to be a while. I think it's going to take some time. I think it's probably not at least until next season.
But does baseball have the grounds to suspend? He's on paid.
They absolutely have the grounds to suspend him.
He is on paid administrative leave.
Yes, they have the grounds to suspend
I
him.
actually think they do not. This was a huge argument on Mad Dog Radio on Sirius XM a couple of weeks ago. I actually don't believe that they have the grounds to suspend him. I just don't like. What would they do? What would the suspension?
I don't know,
be
for beating a woman. I mean, for confirming and admitting that you did all this stuff to this woman. The Major League Baseball doesn't play by the rule of law. Major League
but here's
Baseball,
the problem: are you suspending everybody who's a kink in the bedroom?
It's not that he's a kink in the bedroom, dude. There's a difference between being a kink in the bedroom and beating somebody senseless. You have a point to prove here.
I
Trevor Bauer's no saint. Trevor Bauer is not. It should not be immune from discipline from Major League Baseball.
Oh, absolutely not.
The point here is that you can't have your star. You're talking about a Los Angeles Dodger. You're not talking about a Tampa Bay Ray or a Baltimore Oriole. This is a Los Angeles Dodger who is one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, one of the faces of the Dodgers currently. Well, was. And you're not going to do anything about this.
No.
That's amazing to me.
Because and I would just again say, you don't have to like what Trevor Bauer did. But the key word here is it's consensual. I think I wouldn't have Trevor Bauer on my baseball club. I wouldn't. But Trevor Bauer, in my opinion, took part in a consensual sexual encounter on multiple occasions with a consenting female adult. What happened in that bedroom is between Trevor Bauer and this woman. Should never have come to light. Should never be in court, should never be in the USA Today and on the AP and on ESPN and on every other channel in the world. This was even on CNN, all over the television and newspaper in Los Angeles, because Trevor Bauer, whether you like it or not, did nothing wrong.
Wow.
He took part in a consensual sexual relationship, or encounter, twice with this woman. And she acknowledged that in text messages to him and to her family. So it's hard for me to say Trevor Bauer should be suspended.
He should be suspended on the merits of he beat somebody. It doesn't matter if it was consensual or not. You're Major League Baseball. You have a point to prove here.
Yeah, I don't know. Cody Strickland says, no disrespect to the woman. He did what the girl wanted, and the girl seen a payday for it, changing her mind after. Yeah.
This is but this is important. We all agree on this. This is two different conversations. Legally, he's fine. He's not going to get in trouble. He did nothing wrong. By Major League Baseball standards, this is what I need people to understand. Major League Baseball does not play by the letter of the law. Major League Baseball plays by their own law. Major League Baseball has their own policies.
Yes, they
Major
do.
League Baseball does not get to say, oh, well, because he's innocent in court, we can't punish him. That's not how it works, right? So to me, and maybe he'll never see discipline, but I have a problem with that. You're talking about a premier player in Major League Baseball hooking up with someone over DM and beating her to a point where they went to court.
Now, if this was the NFL, I would agree with you. The NFL, Roger Goodell has full liberty to punish players for bringing shame to the game. I don't believe that the worst commissioner in all of professional sports, Rob Manfred, I don't believe that he is stronger than the players' union. All right, let's leave it there. Because I want to talk about the iPhone 13.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stoked. My wife hates iPhones. I have begged her and pleaded her to get back to an iPhone. She won't do it.
No, she doesn't like them. It's fine.
Well, I'm going to do it. The iPhone 13 comes out in less than a month. The features are amazing. It's got this LiDAR technology that's on some of the iPhone 12s, but now it will be expanded fully to all iPhones, where it's a rangefinder in golf. It is like you can tell distances, It's amazing. It's got a phenomenal camera package. It's got a great battery life. It's got processing. It's everything you want in an iPhone. Now, the Pro Max, iPhone 13 Pro Max, will not have any ports on it, which makes me a little nervous. But I don't really use a port anyway. It will have wireless charging, which is built into my work desk, so I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah, but what are you going to do when you're in the middle of the airport?
Oh, there's wireless charging stations everywhere now.
Well,
Jake's upset. Why are you
because
mad?
it pisses me off, dude. The Trevor Bauer thing is ridiculous. That we disagree on this. I mean, the fact that the idea that he wouldn't be disciplined by Major League Baseball is unbelievable to me, dude. Like, I can't. It's hard for me to get over that.
You can't discipline a guy for what he does in his sex life unless it's criminal. If Trevor Bauer had gotten caught paying a hooker, suspend him. Trevor Bauer had sex with a woman twice and did what she wanted based on her text messages.
Yeah, her text messages also say she didn't want to get punched to the level she got punched to, though.
Right, but the problem is that that's not what she said, bring all the pain. And she told people that she enjoyed it. She told Trevor Bauer that she had never had that kind of sexual high in the past.
So here's my question. This is my question.
I don't like what he did. I would never do it, and I wouldn't have him on my team. But you can't punish the guy.
But here's
for
my
this.
question: if Major League Baseball has no connection to the legal process, they can discipline players how they see fit.
Right, but he didn't. Okay.
But you're not even letting me ask the question. My question is if on one hand in text message she said to her friend, "Hey, yeah, I said that I wanted some of those things, but he went too far." But then on the other hand said it was fully consensual. If you're Major League Baseball, you just don't do anything about that?
Why then did she go back a second time? Why did she never say to Trevor Bauer in text messages, "Hey man, that was a little scary. You went a little too far"?
I don't know.
She never said that to him. How would he know he went too far when she said after the first time they had sex where he choked her unconscious and punched her in the face? She said, "I loved it. I've never had that kind of sexual high. Bring all the pain." And then immediately asked to have another encounter with him.
Yeah.
How would he know he went too far when she never told him that? She said she loved it. I want more.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
by the way,
my view is just skewed. But
I'd like to remind you, she drove up from San Diego again to Pasadena for the second encounter. How are you going to punish this guy for this?
Because my point is it's the premise of it. It's the idea that you would punch somebody in the face. You have a responsibility as a Major League Baseball player. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's awfully difficult.
But maybe my expectations are too high of Major League Baseball players. Maybe my expectations are too high of professional athletes. These are just dudes who have God-given ability to throw a baseball.
I'm telling you, in my opinion, I would never have him on my team. But I'm also telling you, there's no way baseball can punish this guy. I mean, unless they invoke some clause and Rob Manfred all of a sudden grows balls and, like, actually takes discipline seriously, okay, that would be different.
Yeah, he's not going to discipline him. You're right. It'll be fine.
He is a horrendous commissioner.
We'll just have, We'll just have a bunch of women beaters in Major League Baseball at this point.
That's not what this is.
That's what it is, though. That is what it is. Because now you're starting to have multiple examples.
No, let's be very clear. This is not Aroldis Chapman beating his wife. This is not Marcelo Zuna.
Addison Russell.
This is not Addison Russell, who's never played in Major League Baseball again. Currently is in Mexico playing baseball professionally. That's not what this is. This is a woman and a man agreeing to parameters of sex. They even had a safe word, for crying out loud. I don't like what the guy did. He did what they agreed that they wanted to do. This is no different than wanting to get Mexican food. This is no different than wanting to buy a Lexus together. You said to Trevor Bauer, "I want to be choked and punched." He choked and punched you, and you said it was amazing. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
So he did it again. Look, I don't like it. I would never have this guy on my team.
Yeah, I get it. I hear you.
What are the grounds to punish this guy? He had a mutually consenting sexual relationship with this woman.
Yeah.
It sucks. I agree, but there's no there. She is likely not even going to be able to get a restraining order.
Yeah. It's fine.
I agree. It sucks. And James Knight says, I'm missing something here. Do you not have a female following in baseball? The guy should never play in the league again, morally putrid, legal or not. So what do you do in your bedroom, James?
It doesn't matter. He's not a Los Angeles Dodger.
Right, but my point is, if you punished everybody for what they did in their bedroom, I mean, you can't. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. She only sent that text message to help her case, but it really did more damage. I agree.
Yeah, it did. It did. It did.
I don't believe that Marcell Ozuna's playing again.
He may be. I don't know,
who
dude.
was the
Who
Astro
hell knows?
pitcher? Who was the Astros pitcher?
I don't remember the guys.
The closer
That's
guy.
who I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking about the St. Louis Cardinal or the player just in the last couple of months.
It doesn't matter, dude. There's a whole handful of these guys who get away with it. And I'm not trying to be dramatic. That's what Major League Baseball is, and it never gets talked about until a guy like Trevor Bauer, a guy in his level, gets caught doing it.
Yeah, it was Marcell Ozuna for the Braves got arrested July 7th or June 7th for heinous domestic violence.
Yeah.
I didn't get the shoe.
Me either.
Dadgummit. Anyway, the dunk. My wife was out of it. Anyway. Well, now I feel like we can't even talk about the iPhone 13 because you're so upset.
No, I mean we can. My biggest problem with the iPhone 13 is going to be like $1,500 to get the best the best version.
$799. Roberto Osuna and Marcell Ozuna.
That's who I was talking about.
Yes. I you know what, man? I just can't see suspending a guy for what he does sexually. As long as he's not buying hookers or killing women or if you are in a consenting sexual situation, you should not be punished for that. BDSM, which is what this is being described as, where there is physical violence and pain. I mean, if that's not consensual, okay, then we're having a different conversation.
Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're. I'm not frustrated with you. I'm frustrated with the idea that a guy who makes $100 million over 3 years and is the face of the Dodgers gets away with beating someone because it was consensual. The real issue here, the real balls of the conversation, is she mishandled the after situation because she clearly was unhappy with what happened, but she didn't do anything about it.
I don't think she was unhappy with what happened. I really don't. There's no evidence she was unhappy with what happened. She sent a laughing text message to somebody saying, it was consenting, but I think he went a little too far, LOL.
Yeah.
I don't think she was unhappy with it.
Anyway, the iPhone 13 is way too expensive, in my opinion. You're sitting here saying that the iPhone 13 Pro Max with, I've read that they're offering 1 terabyte of storage is going to be, affordable, and I just don't see that.
I think the top end is $1,150 for the largest hard drive with like the whole thing.
Yeah.
They're well aware that $1,500 phones are not selling.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think I don't think it'll be $1,500.
Well, I hope not. I mean, I like new phones and everything, but I have a limit for sure.
Now I feel like we should just
on premise alone, I'm not paying $1,500 for a cell phone.
Okay, can we laugh at the guy in
Oh yeah,
wherever that was?
Yeah, let's laugh at this guy. Speaking of San Diego, okay. San Diego County Board.
This is crazy. This is how we'll end the show because maybe you'll laugh. There was a hearing about masks and vaccines in schools in San Diego. And Homeboy came in yelling about Heil Fauci and your kids are going to be subjugated. I present it without edit.
of your back, and they should be begging you to do the right thing. You're about to open a pit of hell. You do not get a vaccine passport put on us. You know, as the population who's in control, you know that the people or the politicians, once you get a power, you will never relinquish it. Do you think that the 4 feet of marble that holds you above high in this chamber will help you from the fate of humanity which you are unleashing? No! It won't! Your children and your children's children will be subjugated! They will be asked, how many vaccines have you had? Have you been a good little Nazi? Hail Fauci! Hail Fauci! Hail Fauci!
Okay, we're going to stop there because that's a little intense.
Jesus, what was that?
Nazis.
That was a guy named Matt Baker at the San Diego Board of Supervisors. He is, to say the least bit, an anti-vaxxer. Subjugated means that essentially you'll be enslaved and taken over and dominated. Because they want to stop the spread of COVID in schools, so they're talking about making masks and vaccines mandatory.
Wow.
And this guy's going off about Nazis.
Wow.
And hail Fauci. Like, you know what the scariest part of this dude is?
Mm-hmm.
How many guys in this country are like that guy? How many more of those dudes?
Thousands.
You know, do you think
of your back, and they should be begging you to do the right thing? You're about to open a pit of hell. You do not get a vaccine passport put on us.
Okay,
you know, as the population who's
no X-Files.
You know that
Listen to this dude.
Politicians, once you get a power, you will never relinquish it.
This guy is like, I don't even know.
You got to play the last 60 seconds of it. Play the uncut 60 seconds where he talks about the Nuremberg Chronicles. Speaking of Nazis.
Well, I brought you a copy. You are all in violation of Section 1. Yes, you, Dr. Wooten. You are in violation of the Nuremberg Code, which is international law. And the definition is...
Thank you, sir. Your time has expired.
The definition, we shall not be...
Excuse me, sir. You're out of order. Can you shut up now? Okay, the Nuremberg Chronicle, Section 1 that he's referring to, yes, I looked it up. It says that if you're going to perform medical experiments, that you must do it on people who give their consent.
what?
What are you talking about?
Bro.
The Nye guy says we need that one YouTube hero to add metal music to that, right? Slayer or something. Jeremy Bolton says Parks and Rec was spot on 10 years ago when they would have episodes on crazy council meetings.
Yeah.
Spencer Morgan says the guy, I guarantee, listens to Alex Jones. Oh, for sure.
Without a doubt, dude.
He won Alex Jones listener. Right?
Infowars.com.
He's yelling about Nazis, man. Like, so much to the point where I had to go and watch clips of Inglourious Bastards last night.
Nazis.
Because, yeah, I had to, again, please.
Nazis.
I had to have Brad Pitt saying Nazis. Thank you. Like, are you serious with this, homie? Like, and the scariest part is there's probably 10,000 of him.
Nazis.
It's like, why do we always have to go back to Hitler and the Nazis?
I don't know, dude.
Just curious. Why do we always have the Nuremberg trials?
Nazis.
Heil Fauci!
Dude.
Bro, when's the last time you took your lithium? Like, in all seriousness, you're farging nuts. And this is what masks and vaccines have turned into. And then there's Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Oh, Jesus.
This is how we'll end the show because, my God, we are late. Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Yeah.
Tested positive for COVID after saying that we will not have The Nuremberg Crime. Oh, that was a different guy. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
They're
Sorry.
so similar. I got
Yeah,
confused.
whether it's Trevor Bauer or this guy, I just can't tell the difference anymore.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says there will be no mask mandates and there will be no vaccine mandates in Texas. We are a free people. And now you have COVID. So what did he do? Oh, that's right. He got vaccinated long ago, and he has had not one, not two, 3 booster shots.
This is Governor Greg Abbott. As you may have heard by now, I have tested positive for COVID-19. I test myself every day, and today is the first day that I tested positive.
Okay.
The good news is that my wife continues to test negative.
Okay.
Also want you to know that I have received the COVID-19 vaccine
4 times.
And several booster shots.
He got 1 vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, and then he got 3 boosters. Do you know that as American citizens, we have no access to boosters? By the way, Greg Abbott currently is fine. He has no symptoms. Well, probably because he has 3 boosters. Oh, that's right. He also got the Regeneron treatment. That's $1,500 and is not available to most American citizens. And to my guy, Jeffrey Peel, you crazy SOB on Twitter, who was trying to tell me, oh, anybody can get the Regeneron treatment. Actually, no, Dick, they can't. It's only available to those in a very high-risk category, unless you're Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and you're setting up Regeneron treatment stations all across the state because your second largest donor and his hedge fund own the second largest position on a margin call, by the way, of Regeneron stock.
It's interesting just when you talk to people that have done this, and there have been people that will get infected, they get hit, they test positive, they go get it, and then they'll say within 24 or 48 hours, they felt it was like a totally different ball game. And what it is when you get infected, your body produces antibodies to then fight the virus.
Okay.
And people who end up having an easy time with COVID usually do that fine, and they're great. Folks who are in these higher risk categories, they sometimes don't produce the type of antibodies that they need to be able to combat the virus. And so what this does is it's an antibody cocktail. It's providing that, and then those antibodies get to work.
Okay, Dr. Oh, no, Dr. That was what leading? Oh, no, that was Governor DeSantis of Florida.
It's an antibody cocktail. It's
talking about how Regeneron is, he's standing in front of a podium that says early treatment saves lives. Well, by the way, again, as I said on the show yesterday, I would just simply ask, why not have people wear masks and get vaccinated in your state, sir? In Texas, why not? Do you understand that now this huge study came out that says that kids are the leading transmitters of coronavirus?
The coronavirus.
And everybody's going back to school, and do you notice how many school kids are getting infected but are not getting real sick? Well, because the teachers they're infecting are getting real sick.
He is a sick puppy.
So in Florida, I mean, you have thousands. I think they're approaching 10,000 students in quarantine. That was yesterday midday. In Texas, where, again, just like Florida, can't have a mask mandate, can't have a vaccine mandate, but you're going to get your ass back in school. By the way, the 2 leading states for COVID right now are Florida and Texas. And if you want to talk about how white privilege and affluence, notice that both of these governors, Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott, are vaccinated, and they have access to Regeneron.
It's an antibody cocktail.
But both of them question the efficacy of vaccines. And Ron DeSantis straight up said, well, they don't stop the spread, so let's really focus on treatment. Yet then turned around and said, hey, by the way, Joe Biden, can I get some ventilators, please? Because ICU beds across the country are full of people who are sick who don't have access to Regeneron. But you, Greg Abbott, who's not a high risk, you have access to it, and you've already gotten 3 boosters plus your vaccine. Did I get 3 boosters? No, that's right. I don't have access to that yet. It's called privilege. Because you're wealthy and affluent, you have access to the booster and to Regeneron.
Just saying.
Just saying.
All right. Well,
are you in a better mood now?
This has been just such a phenomenal show that,
Are you done taking sides with Trevor Bauer?
I'm taking sides with Trevor Bauer.
You're not taking sides with Trevor Bauer. How's your butt today? By the way, speaking of butts,
How's my butt?
So I have to scheduled a colonoscopy for November 4th.
Oh, boy.
I have to get fully knocked out for this. I have to take anesthesia because I'm a whale ass.
I think that's HIPAA.
That is HIPAA, actually. Thanks, Jake. I can't tell you why I have to get anesthesia. But anyway, I have to be fully put out to get this colonoscopy.
Oh, so you're not the first person today, then?
What'd I miss? Oh, okay. Wow. Stop. Don't joke about it. Anyway, so
See?
Speaking of Roto-Rooter in that butt, I have to get a colonoscopy on November 4th because I'm 48 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I want to do it because I don't. Anesthesia scares me.
Why?
Because a lot of people die when they get anesthesia. Not most. Very small percentage ever. But I had knee surgery and I did fine with it. But that was 30 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary to me to be put under anesthesia.
Yeah.
And I just don't know.
It's never happened to me, so I really don't know, what it's like, but...
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Giggity, I did hear about that. Giggity says, have you heard about Doug Ducey, the governor of Arizona, offering money to schools for not mandating masks during the school year? Yeah, he's willing to pay.
He's bribing.
He's willing to pay schools who will not mandate masks. If there's a state that doesn't give a damn about teachers, it's Arizona.
Yeah.
They don't. They never have. Anyway, the point is, I don't know. I don't know if I should or not. I don't know if I should or not get this colonoscopy, and I feel like I should. Mm-hmm. I really do feel like I should. Am I being a wuss, being worried about?
I don't think
anesthesia?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think if you're worried about it, you should voice that concern. I mean, you should. I don't think you're being a wuss. No, I think medical stuff is terrifying, man. Medical stuff is absolutely terrifying.
My wife really wants me to do it, hey, look, I totally understand. I actually want to do it. Okay, want is strong.
Right.
I understand why I should do it.
Mm-hmm. So wait, and this is on November 4th, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
November 4th. It'll be a 2-day thing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think you just got to...
By the way, I got those those burnt orange.
They're beautiful,
Air
bro.
Jordan 1s.
They're beautiful.
They just dropped on the Nike app.
They're beautiful.
Got them. I don't know. Josh Lovren says, "Get it done." Had a family member back out of theirs. Died of colon cancer. Wow, really?
Dude.
Thanks,
bro.
Josh.
Dude.
Day before procedure is pure hell. Day of is cake. Mandate colonoscopies. LOL. I'll wear a mask while I'm getting one. Get it. Jeremy Bolton says, "Get it done, man." Jose Luis BG says, "Do it, Monty. We want the show kicking for years to come."
It's true. You have a responsibility.
It is scary for me.
I don't blame you for being...
I'm not scared of many things. Being nude in the mirror and colonoscopies are two things I'm terrified of. I joke. I shouldn't joke. I'm terrified of anesthesia. I'm not necessarily so worried about the procedure. I don't have a family history. I eat a ton of fiber. My wife actually made overnight oats today for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I eat a ton of fiber. I drink a ton of water. I have no symptoms. I'm going to get it done. It is scary for me, though. Anesthesia scares me.
I don't blame you, man.
So we'll see. All right, play the music.
Okay.
This has been... has this been a good show?
I mean, I thought it was, but ask the people. We can't judge our own show.
The Trevor Bauer thing really pissed you off, and that's
still
pretty
pisses
rare.
me off.
It's pretty rare that you get that upset.
It still upsets me. Yeah, it's upsetting.
All right. Make sure you hit thumbs up on this show. We really appreciate that. It helps the channel grow significantly. Hit subscribe to the show. We're giving away a Traeger Ironwood 650. No matter where you are, yes, we'll ship it. Man, that's going to be expensive. All you have to do is subscribe, take a picture that you're subscribed, and then post it on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. You have to tag us both. The Monty Show is me. He's SLC Supercars. And until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.